Believe that the biggest exercise of design and technology that we can do is to use our specific design and technology skill set to create things or to reimagine concepts that we would like to serve humanity a little bit better and to serve business a little bit less. And what I mean by that is a lot of the everyday apps that we use, like Google Maps, I don't know, like our camera, like anything, a lot of these are very business friendly and very usable. But what if these apps also were a bit more socially conscious or socially responsible? So I wanted to use design and I wanted to use visual communication, which is a skill set of mine, to rethink a very common app that all of us use, Google Maps. I wanted to imagine features within Google Maps that are easy to add, that will help it become a lot more socially responsible through digital design. And this includes things like carbon tracking, gamification, and a lot more. And let's get started and see what the problem is and how my design solves this. So imagine Google Maps, but better for climate change, right? And because Maps is so commonly used, what if it just became the world's largest engine for climate tracking and climate action, right? Context is very simple. A billion people rely on it every month, but every single route that you take locks in a climate impact, especially if you drive, you emit pollution, you make a carbon footprint, right? Google Maps optimizes for time, right? Not sustainability. So it optimizes for the smallest or the shortest way that you can take, but it doesn't account for how sustainable the route is or what vehicle you're taking and why you should prefer a particular sort of vehicle or public transport, etc. Right? The opportunity is, what if every single commute was also tracked as a climate action, right? And what if Google Maps started to prefer greener routes and how it may become, right, the most socially responsible app on the planet, right? So how do we bake that into the current design? One way is to just add a switch. Just like cars have eco modes, maybe Google Maps can have an eco mode as well that changes the interface of the application. So for instance, if you're driving, Google Maps is showing up on your car screen, maybe it can look like this, right? Maybe it can show you different places you can stop at and what eco rating they have in terms of being sustainable restaurants or sustainable malls, right? So maybe a 4.7 eco rating restaurant is a really good restaurant that uses reusable plates, is good for the environment, doesn't pollute or waste, right? Maybe the app can suggest to you more eco friendly routes compared to your current one and tell you why you should take it and tell you the XP you'll earn from it so that you can have motivation to take that alternative path, right, along your way. Maybe it can tell you or give you weekly missions, right? It, for instance, it tells you to walk or bike instead of driving. Maybe it asks you to check into eco certified restaurants more. Maybe it asks you to report certain things that you see are harming the environment. Then, obviously, in cities where the air quality is incredibly bad, maybe a lot of users that travel through these polluted streets, through areas that have high AQI, suffer in terms of their health. So maybe Google Maps can also track air quality and predict it across places and give you paths that might be longer but are much better in terms of air quality so you don't suffer on your commute. This is particularly important for people who cycle or people who ride on motorbikes because they're exposed to bad air quality the most, right? Then you can even have waste reporting and geotagging because Google Maps already has geotagging baked into it. What I imagine is we can just geotag places where we find waste and use the built-in photo attachment or video attachment feature to attach where and what's happening so that other people can or you can collect it or you can just alert the authorities to it, right? So this was a radical rethink of how Google Maps can incorporate some design methodologies and some design features in order to become a little bit more sort of socially responsible. I think we can employ this exercise as a design challenge for a lot of our different apps, and this needs to start from the root. How might we design platforms that optimize for solving social problems and not just for business?